Welcome back to the TriFecta Airsoft podcast. I'm E-Rock, your host. Thanks for being here. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already so you never miss another podcast. I want to tell you about the next giveaway we're doing. It is Friday, August 12th. If you would like to join that giveaway, join our Patreon or purchase a ticket through our website, TriFectaAirsoft.com, and you will be entered into that giveaway. And what is the winner getting? The Echo 1 PSR sniper with a scope, a 3x9 scope on it, a scope cam, also an action cam with a case and accessories, a 5,000 count bottle of BBs, and a bunch of swag. Join before August 12th. Join our Patreon or get a ticket and you will be entered. Thanks for being here. Let's get into the podcast. Now, how did you plug your head? That's a cool headset. How did you plug it into your phone? Is it one of those adapters that goes into the charging port?
Yeah, it's an old-fashioned microphone plug. This is an old headset. I've got to update my tech, but this is not my phone is actually being plugged in, charged on my computer behind me through a cord, and then I got the cord coming out the top of my phone here.
Oh shit! Nice.
to this, but this works fine. I get everything in range.
Works better, dude. Yeah. Yeah, that works way better because a lot of people that use their phone, they do it, have it on a speakerphone. And it gets a lot of feedback.
Yeah, you should see it. I actually have it's a bar stool with a box on top of it, and the phone is being held by one of those wood clamps for doing projects in the garage.
Yes.
But I got it all rigged up. I got my work light actually off to the side, so it's lighting me a little better.
Oh, that's perfect, dude. Yeah, because it's not it's focused. It's not trying to blur in and out, trying to focus on your background or whatever it's on.
Right.
You. That's good.
Right.
Hell yeah. Yeah, there's one guy I've talked with in the past who like partway through the podcast, I was like, hey, can you change your settings or maybe on your camera so it doesn't keep doing the autofocus, or maybe turn a light on your face? And he's like, oh, I didn't realize. I don't like to say that in the beginning because especially when it's like the first time I'm meeting somebody, I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. Like, oh no, it's going to be all messed up,
No. I'm not. I will admit I was a little, I don't know what you'd call it, but I changed shirts 3 times looking in the camera. Like, does this look okay? Does this, man? Oh, I look like I put on a dark shirt at one point. When I put my arms down, I just looked like a floating head. And I'm like, no, that doesn't look good. So,
oh no, you look great, dude. You look great. And listen, man, most people, once they start watching these, it's like they don't really see that. They're watching, you talk, not like, oh,
right.
Look at that dumb shirt he's got on,
I've been catching up on the podcast, watching, different people. The couple down in Miami that do the drug lord one.
Oh, the tryhards.
That looked insane.
Yeah.
And just seeing different people, different parts of the country of how it is around them, but it's still all the same airsoft community. I've noticed no matter what Discord I go into, I mean, everybody's got the same warped sense of humor, especially
Exactly.
You get a lot of, especially, like me, I'm ex-Navy. So you get a lot of these, ex-military guys, and military guys have like the worst sense of humor. Darkest sense of humor,
dark. Yeah,
and
vulgar and
exactly. But then it's fun to get these younger guys going, oh, what'd you do in the Navy? And when I tell them, well, it actually, believe it or not, was top secret, and I can't tell you.
Were you on a sub?
No, I was actually in the nukes. I went.
Okay.
I actually, when I decided to go active. I went to boot camp between my junior and senior year of high school, and for my senior year of high school, I was in the Naval Reserves.
Yeah.
Because I turned 18 my junior year of high school.
What year did you go in?
I went in '86.
Okay.
This is a while ago.
Yeah. Okay.
But I went to Chicago. So when people say, "Well, what'd you do for your summer vacation?" I went to boot camp, Chicago. And they're like, "What?" Yeah, 10 weeks of friggin' hell, and then I come home to my senior year of high school.
Yeah.
But it was cool. My first day of high school, I wore my dress uniform in.
Nice.
And and so there was another guy that did the same thing I did, because we took our ASVABs together. We went to the same company together. I'm still friends with him now on Facebook.
Oh, shit, that's cool.
After I got out of high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I decided I wanted to go active. And when I went to my recruiter, I said, "What can I get?" And he said, well, let me take a look at your ASVAB. And he's like, oh, a 99 out of 100. What do you
Oh
want?
shit.
And I missed the shorthand question. They had a an old
Damn.
scribbled shorthand. I had a
Wow.
1 in 4 chance of guessing the right one, and I guessed it wrong. And that was the one that I missed.
Yep.
But I took the SEALs test and the SEALs interview.
Damn.
And I passed that, and I did the same with the nuke school test.
Yeah.
I took that too. And I sat down and had a long talk with my dad, and he said, I know you do well in either of them, but neither of them. But when you get out of the Navy, you're going to be able to get a lot more jobs with one over the other. Mm-hmm. He goes, how many jobs are you going to be able to get saying you can shoot somebody from 500 yards? And I'm like, yeah, you got a point. So I went nukes and went to Orlando, was stationed down there, started nuke school. And when you go from reserve to active, you have to do a thing called NAVET. It's a month-long school to reintegrate you into the Navy way of thinking. Oh, shit. Even the teachers thought it was ridiculous. Even the teachers there thought it was ridiculous. I mean, some of the tests they gave us were jokes. They just gave it so that they could turn in a grade, and they said, "Oh yeah, the class did great." They put their name on a piece of paper and handed it in. I mean, that was literally one of the tests.
Well, it was just old saying, like, half the battle is showing up, right? And I think a lot of that in the military is just, hey, can this dude show up?
But that was it. Everybody showed up. We all did the classes. But when while we were there, they were changing over the floors, and they were repainting the walls and everything. So they were moving all the furniture from one division to another. And of course, since we had nothing to do after class, guess what we got to do?
Guess what you're doing?
And we were moving all that. I had a gear locker on my shoulder, and I fell down a stairwell with it.
Oh shit!
And dislocated my left hip. And I was on crutches for a while and on light duty. And they started me in nuke school anyway because they thought, well, maybe they can fix him. Yeah. 2 weeks before I would have taken the final of the first block of classes, and I would have gone up in rank, I was medically dropped with a 3.6 average.
Yeah.
Because they figured out I busted my hip up too bad, no longer capable for active duty, and see ya. And
once you're a liability, bro, they don't.
Oh yeah, and I get it. I get it. I'm a broken piece of machinery. You don't.
Personal. Yep.
And I begged them.
Issue, man.
I begged them to let me take those last 2 weeks of school.
Yeah.
And just take that test so I could get my E4. And they said, nope, we're not doing that.
Right.
And I sat in a transport personnel division in Orlando, and basically became a degenerate and a drunk. And because I knew I was getting out.
Oh shit!
I mean,
yeah, right.
It took them that long. First of all, they had to 100% figure out what was medically wrong with me, so they knew how to kick me out. And all the paperwork. It took them 7 months. Once I got kicked out of new school, I was on base for 7 months. Holy and what was the slap in the face is they got to give you a job. They got to give you something to do. They're not just going to sit on your ass till the paperwork's done. Yep. So they put me working with all the student records for the nuke school. So I got to watch my whole class walk through and hand them their records as they all graduated. I'm like, you sons of bitches. I was so upset.
Well, man, that's a more common story than people realize, especially.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you get broken. They kick you out. That they don't want to fix you. Yeah. They don't want to work with you. They're just like, we got 10 more waiting in the wings with your,
well,
that look just like you.
That. It's not personal. It's like you said, we're a piece of machinery. That's we know what we signed up for.
Oh no, I get it. When people are pointing out, oh, can you believe how these vets are getting treated? Yeah. I can. I did get 10% disability from the VA, but that was after fighting for 6 years. Oh, yeah. I had actually gave up, and a group came forward to me. They reached out to me in a letter. It was AMVETS. And they said, hey, we heard about your case. We'll go to bat for you. I'm like, yeah, knock yourself out, man. I've been fighting for 6 years. Yeah. And had 3 lawyers tell me you're barking up the wrong tree, man. Mm-hmm. And they came back and they said, hey, we got you 10%. I'm like, okay. Yeah. I can fill my gas a couple tanks, a month. Yeah. That's awesome. And
it's something, but it's not a lot.
But that's one of the reasons I moved to Florida is if it gets cold out, my left hip locks up, and I'll stand up and it'll sound like somebody breaking a pencil. It'll crack that loud. and
Now,
it feels like
were you from Florida when you went to boot camp?
no. I'm
Oh,
originally born in Rochester, New York. My parents were hippies in the '60s and '70s, so we moved a
yeah.
lot. And then I went back to Rochester. That's where I took my ASVAB. Then went to Chicago. And then
Okay.
when I was in Rochester, it was cold out, and they said, "Well, Nuke School is in Orlando, Florida. Sold. Nukes. Going Nukes."
No
You said
shit.
Orlando. That was all I needed to
For
hear.
real, especially when you grow up in a cold area. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, so yeah, anywhere warmer than that, I was
Yeah,
like, hell yeah.
and that's what actually made me fall in love with Florida. And even after I got out of the Navy, I moved back to Rochester because that's where my family was. I know, I had friends
Sure.
saying, "Oh no, stay down here." I'm like, "You guys are all shipping out. What am I going to stay here
Yeah.
for? I won't have anybody in next 5 months. As
Hmm.
you guys all drop off one by one to the new duty stations."
Yep.
And I went back to New York, and I was there for 3 more years. And a friend that had moved down to Florida just happened to call me up and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" And we sat and talked for a while at a bar. And he told me he had a 2-bedroom apartment in Tampa, Florida, and he didn't have a roommate. And I just jokingly said, "You want a roommate?" And he goes, "You want to move down?" And 6 months later, I was living in Florida, and I've been here ever since. That was in 1993.
Holy shit.
So
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
I joke with people that I meet when I meet people from Rochester or from up north. They say, "Yeah, I escaped in '93," and they all laugh because they all get it.
Exactly.
But
Oh,
no,
that's
I
funny.
love it down here. I got I got my house now. I got a wife. I got 2 kids.
Okay.
I had my own architecture business for almost 15 years before
Oh
my
shit.
problems with my head made it so I can't work anymore.
Now, how did you go from so what did you do after you moved to Florida? Like what kind of work were you doing right after that?
Jeez.
Just kind
I
of
was
odd
I was
jobs?
only I was only I was only 20. I was 20. I turned 25 2 days after I got here,
Yeah.
and I worked at a couple electronics companies. I worked Aaron's Rents for a while.
Oh
I
yeah.
worked apartment maintenance. And then I worked for a medical imaging company, and I was one of the drivers that picked up patients and took them to appointments. But the
Yeah.
company also had limousines, and I became my boss's private driver. They
Holy
wooed other
shit.
doctors and lawyers to use their service,
Of
and
course.
I could send you some interesting articles that are online. But it ended up the company split up. The two bosses that ran the company, they were Italian businessmen,
Mm.
and they both ran the company. And there were some things one of the other boss wanted to do that my boss didn't want to get involved in, and it caused the company to split up. And I went and worked with my boss, and just the way everything fell, the other boss took it as a slap in the face and had my old supervisor call up to New York City to have 2 guys come down to whack my boss. And I was in the middle of
What?
all this, and at the time, for the 2.5 years leading up to this,
Yeah.
uh, I had to tell my mother almost once a week, "Mom, it's not the mafia. Please stop it. You're embarrassing yourself. You're giving into stereotypes." She goes, "Well, why would Italian businessmen need a limo? They schmooze doctors and lawyers with it, Mom." Well, when everything hit and they got found out and the FBI got involved, and I met a whole bunch of agents in my office one day, and they said, "Well, you stay here and you go home and you do this." And yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, no problem. I get it.
Uh-huh.
And we did what we had to. And literally, those guys stepped off the plane and they got jumped by FBI. And at the same time they set foot off the plane, other FBI agents picked up everybody else involved. And of course, when you get arrested, that becomes public knowledge. So the newspapers pick up on that.
Yeah.
7 o'clock the next morning, my phone's ringing off the hook, and it's my mother because she gets the paper delivered.
Oh God. I
And
told
she's,
you.
yo, yeah, you have no idea. She's screaming in my ear for 15 minutes, and I can hear my dad in the background laughing.
Oh my God.
And that was just one adventure of my life. And then I actually went on and met a friend that was a secretary for an architect. And I said, I've always been interested in getting in that CAD drafting. I think I did drafting in high school.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting to do that with houses. Because at the time, my dad was also a house builder. So I looked at
Oh,
plans with him
okay.
all the time.
Right.
And my dad was one of those dads that at 3 years old, he threw me two pieces of wood and some nails and a hammer and said, put that together. And
Okay.
has taught me woodworking and electrical. I mean, we refurbished houses and stuff together. When I was 10 years old, I was drilling out knee walls and putting in electrical boxes because
Oh
my
my
dad showed me
God.
how to do it. So,
That's cool.
so I said, I've always wanted to do, plus I also thought with the architecture, you're in the air conditioning, you're inside. You're
Right.
not there with the noise and the saws and the hammers and getting all bloodied and beat up. And I had done all that, and I was now almost 30 at that point. And I said, I got to get something serious going for a job. And I started in architecture, and I worked with a couple different architects. I worked at a couple different offices throughout the Tampa Bay area. The last office I worked in was in 2004. It was called Urban Studio Architects in Tampa, and I spent 20 months of my life redrawing the Fort Harrison Hotel in downtown Clearwater. It was originally built in 1927,
Wow.
and it's currently owned by the Scientologists.
Yep.
And we worked with them, and I had to go in and measure that entire building and then draw it out on the computer and then redraw what they wanted to do. And that was 20 months. And after that job got done, I got laid off.
Oh yeah.
And when I came home with my severance check and my paycheck, and my wife looked at both of them and her eyes got real big and she realized what had happened. And she said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I have unemployment. So I'm going to take that. And while I have my unemployment, I'm going to get a business started of my own doing this myself. I said, I'm tired of being the drafter. I want to be the guy making the money.
Yeah.
I said, I have enough. I said, I got 8 years in it now. I think I could do it.
Right.
And that was in 2004. And it was just a couple of years that I actually had to, I call it medically retiring because I'm forgetting too much stuff, forgetting to call people back. I'm just not a good business.
Well,
and all my clients were like, well, who am I going to get to draw my stuff? I'm like, not to sound bad, but it's not my problem anymore. I don't know. I don't know anybody in the business. I do the drawings and I have I was forgetting stuff. Like I had one guy call me, and one of my longtime clients call me. He said, hey, did you do a site plan for this? And I go, yeah, I should have printed that, shouldn't I? Oops. So, I mean, I said, it's only time before I start forgetting enough stuff that it's going to cause an accident.
You wanted to go out on your terms, not wait for that to kind of
not wait to get sued.
Reputation.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's. Do you think that was part of what the kind of work you were doing? Maybe handling a lot of different things or whatever, or was it something you started just gradually coming on? Like
I've had
some condition you had.
I've had it's called basilar arterial migraine syndrome, and I've had that since I was a kid. And my migraines get so bad they actually cause catastrophic damage in my head, which cause brain damage. That takes shape in what are called when your brain cells die. Those are called glial scars. And every time that happens with me, when I have a really bad spike, like it's thundering outside right now, and I can feel it in my skull.
Yeah. That's not good.
And those glial scars are now anchor points for more scarring to grow. Right. And the last MRI I had, you could literally see a quarter-sized hole in the side of my head where my speech center used to be. And it took me 16 months to teach myself to talk again.
Jesus, you're doing great.
Keeping centered on things and learning. My first neurologist told me, he said, one thing that will be good for your brain besides stopping drinking, which that was tough. But right. He said, is learn something new, learn something you don't know anything about.
Huh.
And he said, what's something you know a lot about? And I said, well, I've been woodworking since I was 3. And he goes, well, then don't watch any woodworking videos. You're not going to learn anything. Right. Nothing any of those guys are going to show you with some bandsaw or something like that is going to be something you don't already know. And I said, you're probably right. And he said, so go find things you don't know. So I watched a bunch of knife forging videos and stuff like that at first. And then off to the side in the sidebar of YouTube, I saw this one video. It was an unboxing video by a guy named Airsoft Mike.
Yep.
He's over in England. Yeah. And I said, that doesn't look like a paintball gun, because at the time I knew jack about airsoft.
Yeah.
I equated airsoft with either the gel blasters or smaller
Yep.
paintballs. I really didn't know
Kids' toy guns.
100% what it was, and I had dealt with real guns since I was little. I mean, my dad bought me my
Right.
first 22. It was a Mossberg bolt action when I was 10 years old.
Mm.
You know, so I dealt with real guns, and I'm looking at the thumbnail going, that looks like an AR-15 because I owned an AR-15. I know what they look like. And I watched that video, and that sent me down a rabbit hole that started 5 years ago. And
That's
I
wild.
just started binge watching videos, binge watching tech videos, binge. I stuck to one. I stuck to just AEGs. I didn't. I've watched a couple of the high kappa ones, but I said no. That's a whole different. That's a whole different lane, you know. And then I
Yeah.
watched some of the HPA stuff, and I said again, a whole different, more expensive lane in some
Yeah.
cases. And I said, but AEGs, that's a big wide lane, and I can learn a lot from that. So I took my tools and what mechanical knowledge I had, and I bought my first gun and just went. The only way you're going to learn is by cracking it, you know.
Yep.
And I cracked it open, and springs went everywhere, and I was like, I was
For
not
real.
prepared. I was not prepared. It was like giving a chimpanzee a laptop and just pounding on the keys, you know.
Yeah.
But I watched the videos over and over again, you know, to drill it into my memory of this stuff. And then I just started doing more and more guns, and I started building more and more stuff. And I mean, this wall behind me that's all
Yep.
built up with these guns,
It looks awesome, by the way.
that's the second time that's been like that. The first
Okay.
time I sold a bunch of them to make money to fix up my car. I had to fix my car, and that was the
Yeah.
only place I had money. It was hanging on the wall, literally.
Yeah.
So I found some buyers for guns at a local airsoft field. It's actually over in Brandon, Lithia. It's Black Tiger Airsoft, and they
Oh
have
yeah.
like trade sale days. You can come set up tables or blankets and do that. And I went out there and got known pretty quick because my stuff. If you go on my Instagram, you can see I got pictures of it laid out on the tables. And when I do a gun, I don't just like, oh, I put a new hop up unit in it. Here you
Yep.
go. Or oh, I put a tracer unit on it and then turn around and resell it. I open that gun up, clean the gearbox out because usually the grease they use is disgusting.
Yeah.
And you know, I've learned the different greases that the different companies uses. I clean that all out. I radius the gearbox if it needs it. I do all the little stuff that I've seen in tech videos and all the little tips
Mm-hmm.
and tricks to just make it a cleaner, better working. Shim it. Reshimming is one of the better
Yeah.
things you can do.
Right.
Um,
That's a big thing that a lot of people don't know how to do.
Yeah, and it can be tough because when you're talking, you know,
Right.
0.01 millimeter shims that you can barely feel on your
Mm-hmm.
fingers, you're like, this is going to make a difference. And you're like,
Right.
yeah, the tolerances do make a difference between a winding noise and all you hear is the pop of your cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I go to the outside of the gun and go, okay, what needs to be changed to make it look better? It's going to need an optic, or it's going to need a foregrip, or sometimes I change the stock because I don't like the stock in it. The big bulky ones, that, especially on
Mm-hmm.
smaller guns, just looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
So I try and make them all look better. And I'll start with a base gun and then open it up and then start making a list of, okay, the gears are good, don't need that. The motor's actually good. So since that motor jives with those gears, excellent. I'll just reshim it, re-grease everything. And then a lot of times the whole cylinder set, to me, you know, the piston head, cylinder head, a lot of those are not that great in guns. But again, some of the base guns I'm starting with, I'm only spending $250 on. So I know the interior is not going to be, I buy them for the outside. I like what the
Gotcha.
outside looks like. And then I build it up to look like that.
Yeah.
And that's
What's the most common or what's the piston like? What do you prefer to upgrade? Like what brand and what kind of parts do you use? Because I know a lot of people you know, are interested in that kind of stuff.
It depends on the build. I see these and it's a lot of the younger guys doing it, and they do it to flex or whatever. So they get these DSGs with, you know, SHS ported pistons that don't weigh anything, but they are all steel teeth because you need that, or you're just going to tear your gun apart. And they build these guns that do 35, 40 rounds a second. It's like, yeah, that's cool and all, and it looks neat, especially coming out with a tracer unit. But you can't do full auto on most fields. And I'm
Right.
sorry, you hose me down with 45 rounds, I'm gonna be a little upset. If that, I mean, a couple shots, prep, fine, that's cool. So, I
Right.
mean, some of the guns that I make, yeah, they shoot fast? Yes. Is that what I built them for? No. I build them for accuracy, grouping. When you look down that red dot, what that red dot is pointed at between here and 100 feet or 150 feet,
Yeah.
that's what's going to get hit. Like when you see on some of the scope cam videos where they have the sight put in on the scope cam exactly like they're looking through the scope. So that
Yeah.
when you're watching it on the video, you see that BB go out and it hits the guy and they do the little,
Little
hex mark from,
crosshair. Yeah.
yeah, a little crosshair hit mark.
Yep.
And that's what I want you to be able to see that through the sight when you're shooting my gun. That's
Right.
what I'd rather see. Spraying out 45 BBs a second, okay.
Yeah.
You just went through like half a mag,
Oh yeah.
or almost half a mid cap in 1 second spray, and
Yeah. I'm really trying to think what which area fields and events even allow full auto unless you're like mil sims. It's you have to be that class. You have to be LMG or a support
right.
gunner or something to do full auto. Everything else and like indoor fields, most of them gone away from full autos because of all those 11-year-olds with HPAs that their parents bought them that are 60 rounds a second.
Exactly. I've gotten a few Instagram messages or Facebook messages or whatever, and they said, "Hey, can you build a gun with a 40K motor and 12-to-1 gears?" And I'm like, "Okay, you've been watching way too many videos, finding all the fastest, best stuff, and you want to
Yeah,
cram it into this gun, and you're gonna." And I've used this joke on Discord with guys. I said, "You're either gonna make a beast or a bomb."
yeah,
It's either going to spray BBs out and it's going to just amaze people at how well it shoots, or you're going to pull that trigger twice and that thing's going to blow up in your hand
hmm,
because it can't take all the. I studied force, and I mean, especially in nuke school, all the math and everything, and the
hmm,
cylinder diameter to the barrel length, so you get the right air pressure and all that. I understood that type of math immediately.
gotcha. Okay,
And what a lot of people don't understand is the amount of energy that is in that gearbox and that is put on those little gears is way more than you would think.
yeah,
I mean, you're pushing a less than a half a gram piece of plastic 150 feet at 420 feet per second.
no shit,
It
right?
takes a lot to do that.
Yeah,
And you go throwing in all those high speed DSG gears, and I'm not putting down anybody that builds them. I think
right.
they're amazing. As far as engineering goes, they're amazing.
Yeah,
And that, I mean, that is a hell of a flex to take a tracer unit out and it's just a straight line, and it's just spraying them out. But
yeah, for real.
yeah, you don't really want to hit somebody with that.
No.
They're going to be mad. I would
Well,
be.
a lot of these guys, a lot of the guys that are big into kind of like how you got into as far as interest in the tech side, they're always wanting to see. They won't use it on the field. They won't use it against somebody, but they just want to see what they could do. What are the
Oh
limits,
yeah.
right?
Oh
And so I talked to this girl in California, and her husband was kind of in the background talking a little bit. He didn't. I asked him. I didn't know that he was, that like had that much experience in airsoft until her and I were talking, like on the conversation. So then I'm like, oh, and so I think, yeah, she has me on speakerphone. So he could hear me when he got home. He was, and he's like, oh yeah, and so he was kind of jumping in the conversation, and I said, bro, I saw your Instagram because she told me his Instagram, whatever, and and she was like, yeah, you need to, have him on here one time. Well, I saw his Instagram. He had a picture of the chrono and a little description, whatever. It was like, I'm not even joking, man. I think it was either 1200 or 1500 FPS
yeah, you're
with
going to
a
be digging
point
that
two.
BB out of your skin, dude. You're
And
going to be digging that BB out of your
he's like, I
skin.
don't use it. I just wanted to see what I could do, how far I could push the gun. I would never use it against somebody or on the field or whatever. I just like to mess around and see what I could do. And so it's pretty amazing, when people start messing with this stuff and seeing how how far and accurate, and it's pretty crazy. With this little
Yeah,
tiny BB.
this one right here,
Yeah.
that one I can never sell because that one was engineered and made to shoot hot. It has an inner barrel going the full length of the suppressor. Everything in there is wrapped up tight with basically the white plumber's tape, so all air is
Oh wow.
out the barrel, and that's hitting 750 to 800. And
Woo!
so yeah, that'll I'll never sell that
God
one. I'll
bless.
never sell that one. But again, it was yeah. So I totally get the, you know, being the Dr. Frankenstein of how big can
Right.
we make this monster, or how.
Yeah, it's
I
cool.
mean, I have a design in mind for a bolt action sniper I'd like to build, and
Okay.
I'm putting an extra long barrel in there, and I want to get everything. I'm still kind of. I make sure to study everything first
Yeah.
because I don't want to go spending $500-600 on a gun and parts, tear it all apart to find out, yeah, this isn't going to work
Yeah.
because that sucks. And that's also why I stuck with AEGs because everything, especially with M4s, everything is so this fits with that or can be made to fit with that,
Right.
And but when you were talking about pistons, it goes back to what is it you're building? If you're building
Gotcha.
a DMR, having a full piston with full teeth
Yeah.
is fine because you're firing that one shot or maybe
Right.
two shots in quick
Hmm.
succession. But the full auto isn't that important to you.
Right.
But if you want something that you can do full, like the field at Black Tiger Airsoft, if you're in the woods, you can go full auto. I mean, don't go crazy on somebody, but full auto's allowed.
Right.
And I can make a gun with a lighter ported piston, with a better spring, better gear setup,
Hmm.
and yeah, I can make it shoot faster. But again, with a lot of the fields not wanting the full auto or
Right.
the liability, are really hurting somebody.
Hmm.
You see all the videos every once in a while. Some guy's got a knife and he's picking one out of his chin because he's not
Yep.
wearing face protection.
I
I mean,
know. Right.
and I had face protection for the first game. The first game I ever played was July 2nd. Actually, it was
Okay.
July 4th weekend, and my DMR walking out to the field for my first game locked up on me.
Oh shit.
So my nephew who went with me, he gave me his 1911. So I went in dual wielding 1911s, and I kind of zipped through real quick, and I didn't have my face protection on because it was hot. It was
Yeah.
like 95 degrees, 95% humidity, and I
Yep.
even have a shema, and I just figured I could wrap that across my face. Yeah, 2 breaths after that was like, nope, not doing
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
But I ran
That's gone.
out. There were 2 guys in the opposite team running for cover. I pointed out a window with both barrels and just let them have it. Just bop, 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 bop. I got both of them. They both said out. They said good hit, and I said thanks. And then one came in right through the window and hit me dead in the face. So I kind of like the fact that I got 2 guys first before I got shot, and my first shot was in the face, and I was like,
Yeah.
this is awesome. And I went running back to spawn. But I only lasted about one game before I was just tuckered out. I cannot keep up with those young guys.
Sure,
That's why I
man.
built
Well,
the
especially in the
DMR.
heat.
I wanted to just stand in the back and shoot.
Uh-huh.
But
Now you
and
said Black Tiger Airsoft. That's I've heard about this place a few times because I've had a podcast with, and I follow, and I met him in person actually. Call sign Tonka on Instagram. He plays at that field. Also, Admin Airsoft on Instagram. He moved from Texas to Florida, and that's his home field now is Black Tiger.
yeah,
And
I've seen him.
okay, that's cool, man. Yeah,
But
yeah,
no,
that's
they got a little shop down there. They got a food truck that comes in. They got a couple different vendors selling different stuff. So I mean, I had 2 batteries die on me. Went over, bought 2 new fully charged
gotcha.
batteries. The guy plugs them in, shows you that they're charged.
Right.
And everybody out there was real friendly. No
Yeah.
no stuffed shirts. Nobody upset that younger guys are playing there,
Right.
and not a toxic place at all. It was great. It was really
That's
fun.
cool.
It was fun to set up and talk to the guys there, and it was fun playing too. It was fun getting my
That's cool.
nephew out to play. It was a blast.
Hell yeah.
But I got to wait till
Uh,
cooler weather if I'm going to go out there again.
well, a lot of people, man, when it's what I've heard so far from talking with people, and of course, interacting online the last few years is, yeah, summertime in the hotter states. no airsoft, bro. Like they might go to one event, but they're not like, playing as much as they normally do in the spring or the fall.
I
So,
was I was surprised the July 2nd game that I went. There were a lot of people there. I mean,
uh-huh.
everybody was just sweating buckets. Everybody was
Right.
drenched. You know, but everybody knew they were going to be like that. I mean, even the younger guys. I mean, I was sitting there panting on a bench at one point, but then after the second game comes and they're all coming off the field, and they're all like, "I need something to drink." They're all dying. It was great.
That's awesome. Now I see on your wall there you got some pistols as well. Is that now? Do you work on those too, or just mostly the
I've I've
rifles?
I've worked on mine, but I stick with the AEGs. Those are just ones that I've seen and I've liked and I bought. The first airsoft I bought was the CO2 Desert Eagle.
Gotcha.
The KWA one that goes full auto. I thought, oh, that's great. I was literally like, when I dove headfirst into this and started seeing all the websites that sell the stuff, I was like a 14-year-old in a candy shop, man. I was
Yeah.
just going crazy. I was like, oh, they got that and they got that. Because I thought airsoft was more like paintball.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine had a paintball gun. And I'm like, this thing looks like a toy. It doesn't look,
Uh-huh.
So when somebody said airsoft, it didn't perk my ears because I kind of equated it to that. And it wasn't until I really started watching the videos and getting into it 5 years ago that I saw, wow, was I wrong? It
Yeah.
is nothing like paintball, and just I've started a couple of fights in Discord because I said, well, this is just basically cosplay dodgeball.
Oh
And there were a
shit.
bunch of people that were like, I want to fight him, but I can't.
Mm.
I say, people dress up the real serious milsim to where they could
Oh
walk into
yeah,
a battalion of guys and nobody would know he's not one of them.
for
You
sure.
know, but and then you get the guys in costumes, and then you just get the kids out there in t-shirts and jeans and a face mask and going for it. And
Yep.
and that was kind of me. That's all. But I didn't even wear the face mask because it was too hot.
Yeah. No kidding. Yeah. When I
But
went to Milsim a few months ago, Stonebreaker here in South Carolina, that was a 3-day Milsim, and now I wasn't in the middle of. I wasn't playing. I was doing a press. I did a press pass, so I was just
I saw your
walking around on
videos.
the
I saw the
outside.
videos you put on that.
Yeah. Oh, okay. On the
I did
Instagram.
watch
Yeah.
those videos.
Yeah. I just but I only wore the iPro. I didn't wear a face because I'm like, I mean, if I get hit, it's going to be rare if I get hit because they're not supposed to shoot the camera guys anyway. But it does happen. I did get riddled up the chest, and I had a plate carrier on, but I did get one right here, right at the base of my neck, by my collarbone, and I got a mark from it. So I was like, yeah, you know, I got shot at Stonebreaker, woo! But but yeah, I didn't wear any face pro. But after I got hit there, I was like, man, I'm gonna keep my fucking mouth shut because I don't want one bouncing off my tooth.
Yeah, I've seen a couple shots like that where people they spit out a broken BB and pieces
Uh-huh.
of their teeth. It's like,
Yep.
dude, I think one of the guys in Novrich, uh, I can't remember his name, but he has it's his buddy with him. He
Yeah.
wears like a boxer's mouth guard. He
Yeah.
doesn't wear
That's
he
what
doesn't, he
Johnny
doesn't usually
wears.
wear a face guard, but he wears the mouth guard. So even if he gets hit, it's going to hit that and not his teeth. So that's
Right.
actually smart.
Yeah, that's what Johnny wears. JP on our channel is Colton and Chris's friend that they grew up with, and Colton and Chris on our YouTube channel are my two sons, two of my sons.
Yeah.
I have 3 boys, 2 girls, whatever. And so JP doesn't wear face pro. He wears the mouth guard. Those two guys wear the face pro. So yeah.
And I guess I mean, the one that hit me in the cheek, yeah, it got my attention. I mean, the guy knows he got a hit because my head knocked back. I mean,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, okay, that's what it feels like. But it went away. Of course, I came home with like a mark in my face, and
Oh
and
yeah.
even my daughter was like, "What happened?" I go, "I got shot in the face. It was awesome."
Oh, that's funny. So, so speaking about all your tech stuff and your guns on your wall back there, you have a giveaway coming up. Is that right?
Yes, the top one up here.
Yeah.
There's a short video. I'm going to do a longer one. I'm getting my patches made now. Um, what I'm going to do is it's going to be basically $12 a patch, but you buy a patch, it's going to be a round patch. It's going to say Cutter Airsoft on it. It's got little crosshairs on it. Crosshairs are in red. Lettering is in black.
Can I pull it up on the screen for everybody?
Yeah.
To show them it's on you. It's you have a picture of it on your Instagram, right?
Yes, I think I do. Yeah, I think I put the pictures of it up.
'Cause I think I saw it after you contacted me. Well, that's how we had followed each other on Instagram before that, but then you messaged me last week and said about the like I might want to change my rules on buying tickets for the
because if
giveaway.
You don't,
right?
I actually found that out
you
because
pointed that out.
I was actually going to raffle off my motorcycle because my head's giving me balance problems. I can't ride anymore.
Right.
So I was going to raffle off my motorcycle, and I was actually going to give the proceeds money of that to one of the local veterans crisis calling centers.
Oh shit!
Because 22 veterans a day kill themselves, and I couldn't deal with that, and I can't ride my motorcycle. So I said, if I raffle off my motorcycle, I could raise a lot of money for one of these call centers, and if that saves even one vet in trouble, that makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
And then I found out, you can't just sell raffle tickets for something because that's considered gambling.
Yeah.
You have to give them, you can sell something that enters somebody in a giveaway, but you can't just sell a raffle ticket. So then that's where I found the patch loophole, I guess you could say. But I sell the patch, and I actually won that gun from 6mm Badger.
Oh shit!
I
follow him.
He had a members giveaway, and I'm a member of his. And that's one of the things I like about this community. All the cross support. You say somebody's name to somebody else, and they're like, "Oh yeah, that guy's this guy, and he helps him, and you see him at this place." It's like everybody knows everybody. It's really cool. But I had actually done a custom gun for him a couple years ago. Yeah. And he did a video for it, did a box opening. He just sent me money and said, "Go nuts."
Oh, that's cool.
And I said, "What?" I said, "Okay." And I did. And I went a little nuts on his. And he but he did a box opening. It was like a mystery box. He had no idea what was in it. And he opened that up, and that's what really got me pumped about doing this more. And then I got another somebody that watched his video called me up. He was in Pennsylvania. He was getting out of the Marines, but he wanted something, and he gave me a budget, and he did a video online. There's videos with my name that I didn't do. If you type in Cutter Airsoft, you'll find other videos of other people opening my guns that I didn't do the video, which I think is really cool.
That is very cool.
But I won that gun from him, and I said, well, since I won that gun, and it's small. I mean, I'm 6'3", about 230, and to me, it feels tiny. But to somebody else, they might like a small CQB gun like that. I like the longer DMR rifle types, And I said, I'm going to cutterize this gun, and I'm going to make it what I would make it. And because now my budget is already halved because I didn't pay for the gun.
Right.
So I was able to really go nuts in it. So it's got a Max Pro hop up. It's got a barrel the full length of the suppressor. I got a red dot on it, but then I also went into the gearbox. It's got the gearbox for that gun stock is actually really good. I was actually
the one you're talking about. Is that the one for the giveaway?
Yeah, it was a Lantac 15, but then I took it and did a little bit to it. Hold on a quick second. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, man.
But I went and did some modifications outside and inside, but the front handrail system, the front grip is different, or it didn't have one, so it has one now. I got the honeycomb suppressor, and the barrel goes all the way up. It's actually got a 1.5 magnified optic. I didn't. It had one of those big chunky. You could put the 2 nunchuck style battery, and it was just too big for this gun. So I did a smaller stock, and then it's got the. You can see I put the Max Pro hop up,
Nice.
max cylinder, and that's with a 6.01 or 6.01 millimeter type bore barrel. That's now the full length. This thing shoots lasers, and it comes with 12-to-1 gears, which I thought was ridiculous. But this thing's, and I, since I got it from 6mm Badger, and everybody wants to build a honey badger. Well, I had to name it something different. So this is the Badger Claw. So,
oh shit!
If somebody buys a patch, their name will go on a list. And what I'm going to tell her, I'm going to do a full video on this, telling everything that's in the gun, everything I did, and the proceeds for this gun. I don't need to make money. I don't need to do this for money. This is my hobby.
Yeah.
But if I can do something to make money for somebody else, I'm down. And I'm going to take the money that this gun makes from selling the patches, and that's going to go to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay.
To, help kids with cancer. I mean, who wouldn't want to help with that?
Yeah.
So if I can get a patch made, use that and use guns or parts that I already have to build another gun, and then help that to raise money for charity for things, and I get to do my hobby, which is mainly the teching.
Right.
Then it's a win for everybody.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, I like this one. This one's a nice little. Yeah, this is a nice one.
It looks awesome. Yeah, I love the style and what you've done with it, and so I'm guessing that's the one in the picture on your Instagram. I think you put it on our Discord as well for the giveaway that's in the gun case. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's how all my guns.
All that stuff.
It's
2 mags.
Yeah.
iPod. Oh no, 3 mags.
Well, no, okay, that one you're looking at, that's the DMR, but all my guns come like that. This one comes. It'll come with 2 Helios hex mags. They're 120 round mid caps, and I throw in pop up sights in there in case you want to put them on there. I mean, with an optic on it, I don't know why you'd want the pop up sights, but I'll still throw them in there. And of course, I throw the mag in that came with the gun.
Yeah.
And I send it in a hard case because I just don't like the idea of building a $800,000-$900,000 gun and wrapping it in bubble wrap and throwing it in a cardboard box. If I spent that much money on a gun and got it like that, I'd be a little miffed. So I buy a hard case and I put everything in a hard case, and then you have a hard case for that gun.
Wow.
And I'd rather, and so when people say, "Hey, I got $200, can you build me a gun?" I said, $200 doesn't even start our conversation. Yeah. And I know that comes off as sounding egotistical, but when I shipped Badger his gun, that was $140 to ship his gun.
Right. With that big
and I can't eat that.
No.
But the gun, the weight of the gun, the weight of the case, and all the stuff in it, it cost $140 to ship to him. And then, a couple hours of my time. So when somebody comes to me with just $200, I'm like, okay, you've covered shipping and me working on the gun. You got any money left for a gun? And I know not everybody has the high budget for guns, because some people like to tech on their own.
Right. But those that do, and they don't want to tech their own stuff, and they trust, the work that you do, then, they're willing to pay for it. We sent I think the highest shipping we had, we've been doing giveaways almost every month, not quite, but definitely every other month, for 3 years since we started our channel. And, no, we didn't start doing a giveaway probably until 3 months after we started. But anyway, the highest shipping we had was somebody in, our buddies in Netherlands, Woodland Warriors. They won, actually the guy that runs the channel now, Chris, he's the son. The dad won the giveaway. So they were both Patreon members.
Nice.
And so when I did the giveaway, their name came, or his name came up, his dad's name. So this was I think that was the Arcturus AK-47 or something. I can't remember the brand, but it was a high-end brand,
nice
full steel heavy as shit. Like, thing was nice. We got it in one of the boxes. And so I went to send it, and I print all my shipping stuff out here. I scale and weigh all that stuff and measure all the boxes and wrap them all myself, whatever. Well,
Right.
I put that thing in for his address. It was $240. I said, bro,
Jesus.
this is more than we spent on the mystery box. So, but
How about I just send you a check for the worth of the gun, and you go buy yourself
go
another
buy
one
it.
over there, because 250 to send it, that's another gun. I mean,
Oh,
to me,
dude, for
250
real.
bucks, I can find
Yeah.
a base gun to start with for 250 bucks.
Well, and then, the
That's
cool thing is they have it. I did a podcast with Chris 4 months ago, maybe. And, they have like a really nice gun case, like a plexiglass case with shelves, and like it looks really nice. And then they have guns on the walls as well. So they still have that gun, and it's pretty cool to see. And of course, I sent all the swag that we send and all of our giveaway stuff. The letter and the
right.
patch, the stickers, whatever. But so anyway, I know what you're talking about. When you box up one of these guns and you go to send it, it's not cheap.
Right, and I have to include that in my price, or
Oh yeah,
I'm
for
just
sure.
I'm just eating it, and then I'm not making any money on the
Yeah.
gun at all. And I'm like I said, I'm not out to get rich
No,
doing
but you
this.
gotta
If
have something to keep you going for
Yeah,
what you're
a
doing.
little bit. I because of all the work I put into it. If I actually fixed myself an hourly rate, these guns would cost a fortune. It's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Right.
I kind of set myself a goal, like, okay, you got 3 hours to finish this, or you ain't making any money.
Hmm.
That type of thing. And I'll lay everything out the way I need it, get the tunes cranking, and go to work.
Nice.
And try. But the thing is, even then, I'll sit here at night when I could literally be watching a video, or I'll be working on something, and I'll look up at my wall and go, I wonder what that foregrip would look on that gun, and I'll take them down, and I'll start fidgeting. I can't leave them alone. I can't leave stuff alone.
Oh,
And
that's funny.
it's like the doctor said, it's good to keep my mind busy. So, I've changed the look of guns on my wall 3, 4 times.
What's amazing to me is how broad airsoft is. So, of course, the way I got into airsoft, I'm sure you've heard and most people listening to this or watching this has heard my story. And but there's a couple guys in the UK that play it. I think it's at Dirty Dog, where Alex Hillary plays, and like a handful of people I've already talked to, on the podcast, female
Right.
airsofters over there. They all play at this Dirty Dog, and there's a couple guys. One of them is call sign Wheels. I think he's in a wheelchair. He plays. Well, I think it was last weekend. He just got somebody. I don't know if it's a friend of his or somebody new, whatever, that's stuck in a wheelchair as well. Got him to come out and play. So that was two of them. And so and then you with your memory issue, what's going on with your migraines, and like airsoft has helped all these different people. It's like
Yes.
such a broad spectrum
Yes.
where not just in personality types and backgrounds. I've talked about this before with some people on a podcast where we're like, it's one of the only hobbies in sports that you can find uh, football, fanatics, or football players, or, guys that were like the jocks in high school, guys that were, hardcore, like veteran, military guys, like in the shit, right?
Right.
Combat vets. And then you got nerds and guys that, just are like art school and graphic designers, spent most of their time in college and in,
Oh,
in
yeah.
an office
Huge cross
and
culture.
drawing.
Huge cross culture.
It's crazy. And then you've got these guys like me and you, where we've had some, medical issues. That is what kind of, for me, and a lot of other people I've talked with, that's what drew us to this thing. And like, it gave us a purpose. It gave us, almost like another family of people that we're getting involved with, that's keeping us active and interested and excited about something to do. Airsoft is crazy, bro. It's crazy how I'm talking with these people, and it just brings
Totally agree.
this
The
all this
the the
together.
Discord channels that I'm on. Let's see, I'm on 6mm Vipers or Badgers Discord, C7 Vipers Discord,
Yeah,
TriFecta's Discord, and also Airsoft GIs, and have met some awesome people, had some great conversations, laughed my
yeah,
ass off because it amazes, like you said, you get the football player, the executive, the ex-military, and the nerd, and they all
right,
get together and they dress up
right.
on a weekend and they all shoot each other. It's awesome. It's awesome just
Yeah,
to just see everybody joke about the same things and they all get it. It's not like one, like the football guy is just, I don't get it.
yeah.
No,
Like
he
it's
does
all.
because he does the airsoft too.
Yeah,
And
it's
you
crazy.
get different guys doing different levels of watching videos or what they like to work on, and it's just when everybody gets together on the weekend, it's like you have this group to talk about stuff now. You might have
Hmm.
seen stuff all week long. You're like, oh, I can't wait. And then you get together and everybody just talks about their stuff, or
Yeah.
they work on their guns for a month and then they show up to a field with a new gun and everybody looks at it like somebody bringing a new baby into the room. It's hilarious.
That's so true. All the ones that people I've talked with and the videos I've seen, that is so true. Yeah.
I've joked one of the reasons I send my guns in hard cases is I want guys showing up to the airsoft fields with one of my guns and like set it down on a table and start undoing the latches, and that gets everybody's attention. It's one thing to
Right.
have a gun bag, but when you're clacking open that hard case, that's like the
Uh-huh.
guy that comes to a pool hall with his own pool cue.
Yes,
And
exactly.
he cranes that thing open and everybody's neck cranes in to look and they all look at the gun and then all of a sudden everybody's like, he's on my team. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And that if I ever hear that would happen with one of my guns, I'd be ecstatic because it'd be like, yeah, you don't want to get shot with one of mine because you will.
Yeah, dude, that's cool.
They and I but being on the discords, I've learned a ton more. I've learned even more. There was stuff that I thought, well, why? I've always done it like this. No, you need to do it like that. And you need to put this in like this. It works much better. You don't have to use as much oil. Whatever. And
Yeah.
all these tips and tricks I've learned from people, and some of the builds I've watched people make that have ended up blowing up. That I've literally been one of the people that go, you shouldn't be doing that. You really shouldn't do that. And then they show a picture of like, oh, look at the inside of my gearbox now. And I'm like, yeah, the front of your gearbox is missing. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Oh, that's funny. I thought it was cool that I just saw when my power came back on and I got everything running again. Uh, I opened the Discord first and I saw you had asked some questions in the general, like about how to get, the audio and everything set up on here for this call. I thought that was so cool that, hey, man, uh, how do I get this, chat thing going or
Yeah.
whatever? Because I
Shout out
got
to
to,
SO3 Viking. He was the one that helped me with it.
right. Yeah, that's
He
fucking
jumped
cool,
on. Yeah,
man.
I got you. And he goes, yeah, I can hear you, but I can't see you because I don't have a camera. And but he
Yeah.
but he still helped. And then I realized, and then I just left it on, and I realized I had my back turned to a Discord channel for the last 20 minutes. I went, oh my god, I never turned that off. And he even joked about, you might want to watch your microphone. Your microphone's on. You got a hot mic. I'm like,
I
I don't know
I
what I
saw
don't know what
that.
I'd say that would.
Right,
But
but still.
but it's cool. Again, it's that helping community. Of all I did is I
Yeah,
asked for help, and somebody stepped up within 2 minutes.
for
And and
sure,
and, I,
man.
and I've seen other guys come on, what I like is when the person, you can't see somebody's age when they're a call sign on a Discord computer screen.
Oh, right.
Like
No,
mine is
no.
Cutter 13. You can't tell that I'm 54 years old
Yeah.
when I type something. But
No.
sometimes in the language that when people type and they use and they're asking questions, you're like, yeah, this is somebody between 13 and 17 years old.
Yeah.
And they're just getting into it and they're asking about this. And
Right.
and what I think is cool is you can see the older guys that step up to talk to them because they know that those are going to be the older guys that are going to teach the next younger guys.
Yep.
So teach them and tell them. Don't be like, oh, I can't stand all these kids coming and asking these stupid questions. Well, then give them good answers.
Yeah.
Don't immediately, this one kid I met, I talked to him. He's actually here in Tampa, and I talked about meeting with him at Black Tiger Airsoft and everything. And again, I didn't know age. I saw a name,
Right.
and I said, hey, one of the guys over here in Clearwater near me, I was going to pick him up. Do you need a ride? We could pick you up on the way to the field. And he goes, I don't know if I can do that. I'm 14. And I was like, Oh, whoa,
Oh,
whoa. No, time out. That's not
that's
airsoft.
not
We're
what you
talking
meant.
about
Hold
airsoft,
on.
you know. And he actually did show up to the field. His dad drove him to the field, and his dad
Gotcha.
walked up and shook hands, and him and I talked, and he
Yeah.
realized everything. And he's like, well, "What do you got?" And I was just getting ready to open my case, and I
Nice.
opened it, and he goes, "Wow, that looks like one of my service pieces." And I go, "What do you mean service piece?" He goes, "I'm a cop." And I go, "Of course you are. Of course you are. The 14-year-old kid I'm talking to online, his father's a
Yes.
cop, because of
That you
course he
offered
is.
a
I mean,
ride
why
to.
wouldn't he be?" And my nephew was standing next to me, just dying laughing
Oh my
because he
God.
cannot believe this situation. But right there in the field, I opened up that kid's gun for him and fixed it for him right in front of him, put it back together
Nice.
and said, "There you go."
That's
And
awesome.
his dad's like, "What do I owe you?" I said, "What do you mean what you owe me?"
Yeah, nothing.
5 minutes of
Good.
my time. I talked to him on
Yeah.
Discord. I have my bag that I carry around. It's Cutter's Magic Bag,
Yep.
and I have all my spare parts in this from everything I've taken apart. I have hop
Okay.
up
Pull.
units,
Just
barrels.
reach in there without looking and pull something out. I want to see it.
Oh, jeez.
Just like a gift bag. Like, let's see, a
Oh,
grab
well,
bag.
there's a small scope,
Oh shit.
little tiny scope.
Those look
So you
like
got
that looks like the scope in World War II. Okay. Pistol
AK
grip.
grip, backlight AK grip, because I put a different grip on the AK I had.
Yeah.
What else we got? Uh, end of a butt stop.
Yep.
All kinds of little different stuff. And
That's cool.
when I hear somebody say, "Oh, this broke on my gun," or "Oh, I can't get this to work," I'm like, "Come here, come here,"
Yeah.
or I'll just walk down the line during the security
You're like, let me
briefing.
cauterize it.
Yeah. And I was walking down the line during one security briefing, and this kid had a really nice ARP 5.56, but he just had bare threads on it. And I'm like, nah, I can't do that. You need a flash hider. Reached in, pulled a new flash hider out, just went, screwed that on for him. And he's like,
Nice.
"Oh, that's awesome." And I said, "Yeah, your front's still needing something." And I had a small L-shaped hand stop, and I real
Oh,
quick
nice.
screwed that to the front of his gun, and he was just like, "Ah," he's like, "I love this gun all over again." And I said,
Right.
"There, go have fun," because it's a part I already bought in a gun. It didn't cost me
Oh, that's
anything.
cool.
And it gets my name out there, and I see somebody enjoy their stuff more. It looks better. I hate orange tips. I think they
Right.
look
We
horrible.
do
That
too.
was
Yeah, they're horrible.
from the beginning when I forgot my first gun, and I was like, "That's the first thing that comes off this," and it is. Whenever I get a gun, it's the first thing. If I have to drill out the grub screw to get and boil the end in water to get the
Oh, I
glue to
tell you.
release.
Oh yeah.
In
Well, when
fact,
I first started
the
doing ours, I do I just use a torch, but I heat it really slow. Well, I have a heat gun as well. A real, low voltage heat gun. It doesn't get super hot. Not like the big
yeah,
hand, industrial ones, but it's just for like real minor. So I'll use that or the torch. If I use the torch, I just kind of it takes a little longer because I don't want to melt that shit. Because I melted one before. I mean, it still came
oh
off in
yeah,
the end. Who cares? But I just had to clean up more shit. But you know,
they get that wire brush out, and you're taking all the
yep,
little bits of burnt plastic off the threads.
yep,
Yeah, and it's helped like that when people come on the Discord channels and they're like, "Hey, how do you get the orange tip off?"
right,
And people are suddenly flooding it. You can boil the tip in water. The hot water will loosen the glue, but you got to look for a grub screw or a push pin. And
yeah,
if you can't get those out, drill them out. That's
yep,
I had to do that for the Badger Claw,
gotcha,
the giveaway gun. Um, but it gave me so much trouble at the time
yeah,
that I just ordered a new barrel. So it's got a new outer barrel on it.
yeah.
That's one of the things I added to it because it was
I
just
can't remember
easier.
what
I'm like,
gun
I'm
we
not
had,
I'm
but
not
it
going to
was
futz with this.
yeah. We had the same issue on. There was one where I went to take the orange tip off. It had a cotter pin in there, and
Yep.
I was just like, bro, like if I push something in there, because the cotter pins are split, so it just
Hmm.
makes it bigger and more and tighter in the hole. So then I'm like, I have, extractors like screws, the extractor sets. I bought, a bunch of different tools and stuff, but that ain't gonna work because it just tightens it. Uh,
And they're just
so,
little itty bitty tiny
oh, it's
things
so
too. So
tiny.
it's I
I
found that
use
just you get a
punches.
drill just a little bit
Yep,
bigger than that pin, you pop that thing right out.
yep. That's what I
It's
had to
just
do.
so much easy if you have the ability. If you have it, I mean, I have a shop in my garage where I got a vise on the bench so I can vise the barrel down and, really get in there.
Yeah.
But, and I try and tell people, when you do this stuff, wear eye protection, wear gloves. Don't put a drill through your hand. I don't want to hear that. Oh, I can't play this week because I got stitches trying to fix my gun.
Yeah. If you don't have a drill press, if you're doing, manual hand drilling on metal, you better have some eye protection.
Exactly.
Because you twist
a fleck gets in your eye, it'll slice your eye
that
out.
Thing chips. Oh yeah, for real. Because it catches.
I was one of those kids that took all the shop classes in high school, and all the shop teachers were huge on iPro. Yeah. And we had one kid in our class on a lathe that he used to complain about it all the time. Yeah. And then he was turning something on a lathe, and it skipped that blade off, and it hit the glasses and cracked the glasses. Woo. He never said anything again about iPro, dude.
No shit.
And the same goes with airsoft. Mm-hmm. One of those BBs will take out an eye. Dude, you'll shoot your eye out, kid.
For real, I can't imagine how. Oh my God, no, hell no. If you got, if somebody, because it would be bad on both ends. Whoever shot you would feel like
shit for the rest of their life. Bro, yeah, it's not even worth it, man. Like, okay, your glasses fog up. Fucking, just stop for a second and try to cool down or wave them off. I don't know, but don't take those fuckers off. Yeah, because it's at 1 second you get a ricochet or something. Really especially
is.
When a lot of the fields they use the shipping containers. Yeah. That's one of the things I thought was hilarious because I was I had those two 1911s. They were both they were green gas, but they're loud. Right. And I was in there, so I gave away my position right away, and I would pop a few shots and then duck, and then all I hear is like it was raining, just take. Yeah. It's like, yeah, they found out what I was, and I loved it. I thought it was because it was my first game, and I had seen a lot of gameplay videos and stuff, but to actually do it is totally different. It's totally different, and it was awesome.
Now, who got you into airsoft? Or no, you just started watching videos. So when you went, when you went, so have you been talking to some, like your nephew? Was he into it already, or you got him into it?
No, I actually dragged him to a game with me.
Oh shit, that's cool, dude.
I actually found out that one of the things that my brain is affecting is it's given me compulsion problems. Huh. Obviously.
No, I think every airsofter has that.
Yeah, but I went recently last March. I went, and you can see the pictures on my Instagram. I took 3 full military loadouts and 4 250-piece huge first aid kits, put them in my sea bag, and I flew over to Europe to personally deliver it to the Ukrainian consulate in Frankfurt, Germany.
What?
And that was the compromise I made with my wife, because my first thought was those 3 loadouts are for me because I'm going to Ukraine. I had it in my head, and I had pinholed a mission in my head that President Zelensky on a YouTube video told me that he wanted my help fighting the Russians. So I'm going to Ukraine, and I sat here and talked about it. When they first rolled in, I said, I'd be a good guy to have over there. I said, I'm ex-military. I know tactics. I can drive anything or be taught to drive anything. I said, there isn't a gun I can't break down and shoot. I have medical knowledge. And my wife was agreeing with me. She's like, yeah, you would, and she, not so much in this term, guys say this, but she kind of just thought I was talking shit.
Yeah.
And I had went around one day. I went and sold 3 of my airsoft guns at one of the local stores. I told them what it was for, and they bought them. I got some of the gear there. I went to an Army Navy store that we have here in Pinellas County, and I went in there, bought a whole bunch of gear, and then I stopped at an architectural client of mine that I was actually doing a drawing for. It was just a small side drawing. It didn't need to be all engineered and legal and everything like that. It was just for a shed. And I just told her, I said, I need money. And when I told her what for, she handed it right over. Didn't even blink.
What?
And I came home and I had that sea bag in my hand. I had a new hat on, And I came walking through the house, and my wife works from home, and I threw $700 on her desk, and I went, I need a plane ticket to Europe in the next week. And she saw that, and I continued on walking into my little home office, and she sat there and she saw the sea bag in my hand, and she looked at the money, and then she just came to the realization, oh shit, he's serious. he wasn't joking. He was,
Oh
and
my
she,
God.
of course, she comes into my office. What are you doing? I said, going to Ukraine. What do you mean? What am I doing? And my compulsion problem in my head has popped up in things before.
Yeah.
That I've done things like this where I've dove headfirst in with no knowledge, no knowing anything, just I need to do that. I need to help that. From anywhere from helping a friend fix drywall in their bathroom to going to Ukraine to fight, and I was ready to go. And she was just trying to give me all these reasons not to, even though every reason I gave her, she couldn't not agree with.
Yeah.
And because I was so pigeonholed on that needing to get done, all her arguments, I was like, I don't understand why you're arguing.
Yeah.
And then I said, how about I sleep on it? And it literally took me that whole night, the next day, to really think, to go back over the last 6 years since I was diagnosed with this, the amount of times I've dove headfirst into something like that.
Right.
Like this. And been like, wow, I need to slow down.
That's pretty crazy though, bro. Like buying an airsoft gun and working on it as an obsession is way fucking different than I'm going to Ukraine while there's a fucking war going on.
Yeah, but I realized,
shit.
Medically I was not in shape to, but I didn't see that. I only saw the mission,
that's wild.
But so that completely wiped out my airsoft wall.
Like it was totally like, this is what I have.
Oh
to
yeah.
do.
Oh no, dude. I got my passport in order. I had talked to a couple other ex-military buddies that they said they wish they could go. And a lot of people that I talked to, they were like, yeah. They could totally see me being the person to go, but then when I realized, my head causes problems, I could have a seizure out in the field, and then I'd be somebody else's problem.
Right.
So as that realization, those blinders slowly came off, and I started seeing all this stuff. Like, but my mind was still so driven that I had a mission I had to complete. So the compromise was, I actually flew over there, landed in Holland, in Amsterdam. And then I met up with a friend of mine. She lives just outside Amsterdam. I stayed with her for a night, and then I went to my brother. My senior year of high school, we had an exchange student from Germany. Yeah. We've been friends ever since. Okay. So I went and stayed with him and his wife.
Oh shit!
And him and I were going to go to Frankfurt together, and then we found out that I could just mail that sea bag full of stuff to them in Frankfurt for a hell of a lot cheaper than it would have cost in gas.
Right.
So, and it saved us the day of driving. So we did that and had another day. Shit. But unfortunately, right after we mailed that, we got an email confirmation because they take COVID way serious over there. Yeah. The I'm not going to wear a mask, then you're not going to come in the country. They don't joke around. I mean, a cop with a machine gun won't ask you nicely. They have signs everywhere in airports in English. Who do you think that's for? Saying this is not this. Those I'm not wearing a mask.
Americans.
Yeah. But that is not going to be the hill you're going to die on over there, because they'll throw you in jail for 14 days.
Jesus.
They'll COVID test you and throw you in jail for 14 days. They won't even joke about it. So I had to be tested before we went to this party.
Yeah.
And I popped positive for Omicron COVID.
Oh shit.
So it took all afternoon to find me a hotel in Holland, because I literally got kicked out of Germany. I mean, for like actual legal reasons. I could have been arrested and stuck in quarantine for 14 days, and I would have missed my flight home. God, but I went and I isolated in this hotel in the middle of nowhere in Holland, and was there by myself for 3 days alone. And I was getting my meals in boxes, taking it back to my room. But then I met up with my friend again in Holland. I stayed with her, but I lived in her attic for 3 days or 2 days. And she was literally pushing food across the floor to me with a broom. to stay that far away from them. It's not even a joke over there, man. It's not.
I don't understand.
There's
If the mask works, then why do you have to quarantine if you have it? Because
oh
the
no
mask
no
works.
we traced it back. I actually caught it on the plane on the way there by this old lady next to me on the plane, coughing every 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I'm making a
You know,
joke.
and I had
like
a mask on, but I had to take the mask off to eat, and she's coughing on my food. I'm like, this is, and you're packed in a tight plane, and I knew I was going to get something, but then I came positive with it. I mean, and there's one town in Germany over there that my brother told me about. If you're walking down the street without a mask on, everyone will literally stop and stare at you until you put one on, because in that particular town, at least one person in every single family died of COVID.
Bro.
So they take it. They take it super.
All day around South Carolina. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. But it's funny when they do travel over here and they wear masks and they look at us like, you people are, because they've seen death on a scale that just is unreal. I mean, Italy got almost wiped out. You live in
a state in Florida where it defied all the rules because they
and I caught COVID twice, and I don't go anywhere.
They had the least amount of deaths, the least amount of cases, the least amount of everything. Their economy still did good because they didn't shut everything down for as long as everybody else. So they defied every fucking rule. Like out there, it's so crazy, dude. And it's Florida. Yeah. You ever see those memes? The Florida man bad.
Oh, dude, yeah. Anytime something happens weird in the news with somebody, and I'm like, don't be Florida. Please don't be Florida. Please don't be Florida. In Florida today, oh, God damn it. You know?
Look, dude, you were about to be the Florida man bad meme if you would have went to Ukraine with a sea bag.
Yeah. But no, I
bad news today. Qatar Airsoft tried to fly to Ukraine and join the war with an airsoft gun.
Well, no. Actually, when I found out they were handing out AK-47s, I was all about that.
No shit, right?
I was like, yeah. But no, I was ready to go. And mentally, I was ready to go. But then I woke up, and saw, no, that wouldn't have been good. And
now, you already had your plane ticket to the first part of it or something? Or you just ended up going, getting a plane ticket to go over there for where your friends were? After all this, after that happened. Okay,
and I just had the gear and the stuff delivered, so I donated everything that I bought. Right. And said like everything but boots and a gun. I mean, hat, goggles, gloves, knee pads, pants, shirts. I had 3 full loadouts, one all black, one camo, and one green.
That's wild. Yeah.
So because I was set to go.
Right.
But I smartened up, I guess you could say. The rest of my brain went, no, you don't need to be doing that.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. I mean, there's certain things in life, obviously, we have to, it takes that kind of commitment. But I don't know if that was one of them, but I don't think so.
Well,
I'm glad you didn't go.
No, it was. Well, no, there's a lot of people glad I didn't go, including my wife and kids. But part of me, at the time, again, like I said, I was so pigeonholed on the mission.
Right.
I saw it as I was doing it for them. Like, I'd rather go outside and fight the bear in the front yard than let it in the house. Mm-hmm. That was kind of the analogy I saw in my head.
Right.
Because you don't know how big that was going to get, or if he was going to decide to go, let's take Poland too and head east. Yeah. And I even told my friend in Germany, I said, Russia sends 1 foot in Poland, get out. Just get out. Mm-hmm. Because if he steps 1 foot in Poland, he's not going to stop.
Yeah. Yeah, I was talking I did a podcast with a girl that's from Poland. She lives in the UK, but she's from Poland. And she actually traveled back there, I think 2 months ago. And, back home to visit, just for like a week or something, a couple of weeks, and then went back to UK. But that came up in the conversation because that stuff had already started, when her and I had talked on the podcast. And she still has mom, some family over there in Poland and stuff. So it was like, man, it's getting a little close to home. Well, what's going on. So she was keeping an eye on it, but yeah.
But it was one of those, I saw people that needed help, and I
right.
like I said, I joined the Navy when I was young. My grandfather was in the Army in World War II. My dad tried to join the Army during the Vietnam era, but medically he wasn't allowed. So I kind of saw it as my duty to step up, and I joined the Navy. And then when this came along, I was like, yeah. I mean, and part of it is one of the things that I saw is I have a discharge on the wall from the Navy that has the word honorable in front of it. And I was like, what's honorable about sitting on my ass watching it on YouTube?
Yeah.
You know, but again, I didn't see my limitations. I only saw my ability, and that's what messed me up.
Well, I'm sometimes that's good.
I'm okay now, and I'm glad I didn't. I mean, I got to go to Europe. I didn't get to do much because I was on lockdown from being sick. But I got to see a couple friends, and
bring COVID over there.
Yeah, I don't think I brought it. I brought it home too. But,
oh Jesus!
But but it took me, and I all the airsoft guns I sold too. After I got back, and I'm looking up at my blank wall, I was just like, God, you're an idiot. but I've slowly been building my wall back up. But most of the stuff on my wall is for sale. You know, I build it. I build it to sell it.
Yeah,
that's what I tell my wife. That's what I tell my wife anyway. You know,
you got to keep the one. That, you know, your specials there.
Yeah, I mean, like the pistols I keep, those are mine. Yeah. I wouldn't build a pistol to sell it. I'd build a pistol for me, and that's more for backyard plinking than it would be to play with. But
Shoot
the like, you say gators, yeah.
Shoot the gators in your yard.
Yeah, one of my friends just posted a video. This 11, 12-foot gator is just walking through a neighborhood, plops down in the guy's front yard, just decides to take a nap, and it's like, you know. And I'm also I'm very big in the Celtic community here, and there's a town in south of us called Dunedin, very Scottish based town. We all wear the kilts.
Heritage?
Oh yeah, we all wear the kilts, and we march in parades with our. We have a group that raises money for
was part of the
pipers.
Scottish games growing up, so yeah, okay.
I actually competed in the games for a little while.
Yeah,
I worked out and I buffed up to about 250. Yeah. And I competed in the games for a while. That was a lot of fun, and we raised money for dancers and pipers and drummers to go to competitions and schools all over the world. So I've always been raising money and helping people, and that's why I'm doing it now with the airsoft gun. I figure I sell the patch, use the money from that to not only get another gun to do it again, but then have a good chunk. Like I'll probably have, I'm guessing between $1,000 to $1,200 left over to just give to charity.
The charity, yeah.
To give it to Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I've already said it enough. I have to do it now. I don't. And again, I'm not doing it for the money.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Well, let everybody know again how can they get involved in the or how can they join the giveaway? Like, what's the best way? Is it the through your Instagram?
It will. Yeah, I'm definitely doing it through Instagram. Okay. I'm going to blow through all the places you can post it on Discord. I am going to do a YouTube video showing both the gun, the patch, and telling everything I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So it's all in the up and up. Everybody doesn't have any questions. They can rewatch the video if they want. Say, what did he say about that? You know.
How does somebody get a patch once you get them?
I'll probably do it through Instagram, and I'll take it through Venmo, and then through Venmo you can put your name, address, call sign. Right. And actually, I'd like to. I was going to tell everybody in the video to do a name and a call sign or a nickname or something, so that I don't put your last name. Like, you know, if your last name is Atkins, and I'll put Scott A, and then call sign, you know, Dog Hunter, whatever. Right. And then so when that person's name comes up, and I'm going to use the random.org, just like Airsoft GI does for their live streams. Mm-hmm. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And every patch gets an order, or if you want to donate more money, like the patch is $12, and that covers shipping.
Right.
Okay, I'll drop it in one of those little post office bags, you know,
envelopes,
and I'll have your address from when you give it to me on Venmo. That'll all go on the one random website, and then I'll film myself hitting it so that people will see the name that comes up, and then I'll contact that person, and that thing will get shipped out 2 days later.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to keep the one. I want them to get it. I want them to do a video of it. know, to show what they won. But I'm going to lay it all out on a video so that everybody can see. And then I'm also going to do a video somehow of me either transferring the money to Make-A-Wish or giving somebody an actual check or something, you know, so that people can see that I actually gave the money away, and I'll just do it again. And the way I see it is it's a self-replicating way to pay for my hobby.
Yeah.
I get to have the fun of building a gun,
Right.
designing some cool little patch.
Somebody gets the benefit from it that wins.
Right.
You know, you're reaching a lot of people doing it that way. That's a cool thing, man. So, so your Instagram is Cutter Airsoft, right?
Yep.
Your YouTube, is that the same? Cutter?
Yep. It's also Cutter Airsoft.
Cutter Airsoft. And so listen, everybody, when do you plan on having the patches?
I'm waiting right now to actually get the money in to pay for them. It's one of the reasons I'm trying to sell a couple guns, but I'm actually waiting on a check. Once I get that check, the company that I have, they already sent me the proof.
Gotcha.
You know,
so it's like
and they're like they're they're waiting. And as soon as I get the patches, because I'm going to do the video showing all the patches, like a big, not just hold up one of them going, hey, buy a patch, and then suddenly I disappear from the airsoft world with $2,000. That I'm not ruining my rep for that. That's.
I don't think most people think that, to be honest. Yeah, you're you know, if they're willing to buy a patch from you, you know, most airsofters are into patches. Yeah, you're good, man. It's so.
I got people waiting in the wings. I've got people asking me, when are you doing the patches? When are you getting the patches?
September maybe. So probably September timeframe, because a lot of the companies, if it's a PVC patch, their turnaround time, they got to make the mold if you've never had one done. So the turnaround time is usually 5-6 weeks, depending, but it might be shorter, you know, 3 weeks or something. But that's pretty quick. But yeah, man. So what, like September time frame you're thinking is
probably. I'm hoping beginning of September I'll at least have a proof patch that I can show and get it rolling.
Well, listen, man, it's been awesome. Everyone listening and watching this, go to Cutter Airsoft. Follow him on Instagram. And
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And then your YouTube as well. And keep an eye out for the patches and the giveaway coming up. And listen, you know, definitely, I saw you posted on our Discord. You know, spread the word on Discord. You can do that, you know, as many times as you want on there. And then.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll post it, and I'll help you promote it on Instagram too. So as you start getting closer to it, you know, I'll watch your story and your feeds and stuff, and I'll repost and tag people, and yeah, man, we'll get the word out. It'll be great. Dude, it was awesome meeting you. You got a good, you know, good collection there. It's really cool that there's not a lot of techs that know what they're doing in the airsoft world right now. So I
sit and listen to some people talk on Discord, and I'm like, I don't know if I should jump in and say anything or not, you know, because I've only only been doing it for like 5 years. I've only been doing this 5 years. I don't count that as being a veteran. And some of the stuff that I've learned from people, you know, they've been doing it for 12 years, and that, you know, being a guy that was in the military, you look up to something like that.
Yeah, right.
But when I saw one kid give advice that I had given him the day before to someone else that got on, they're like, "Oh yeah, do this," and I'm like, "I just told you that yesterday, bro." You know, I mean, it's good. He was passing along correct information, and that's good. But I just thought it funny. It's like, I just told you that yesterday, you know. And he's saying, "Oh yeah, you do this," you know. Like,
that's how it goes. Well, listen, brother, man, it's been awesome talking with you. We'll have to do it again,
talking to you, man.
Probably next month when, you know, you get your patches in, and we can promote that and the giveaway as well. So
definitely
appreciate your time, and hope you have a good night, man.
You too. Talk to you again later,
brother.